The mercenary charges into the Grand Duke's chambers, fists clenched. But the Grand Duke doesn't flinch. His expression remains calm, almost amused. The mercenary's outburst has been anticipated. What do they want from this young noble? The mercenary's desperation was their only advantage. They thought it might be enough. The Grand Duke leans back in his chair, steepling his fingers together. His eyes lock onto the mercenary. This isn't just about a duel. It's about the future of the kingdom. The Grand Duke's words will seal the mercenary's fate. But what will he say? The Grand Duke needs a miracle, and he's counting on this mercenary. His forces are stretched thin, and he's desperate for a way out. He's in a tight spot, and his instincts are screaming at him to get out. The Grand Duke's men close in, their blades raised high. He takes a step back, eyes darting around for an escape route. But it's a trap, he can see it now. What if the Grand Duke's men are not who they say they are?
Stop. You're wrong.
His heart is racing, and his mind is racing faster. He's not sure what to do next, but one thing's for sure, he can't fight this many men by himself. He spins around, looking for any possible way out. The Grand Duke's men form a circle around him, trapping him in. I try to reason with him, but he's already made up his mind. What does he plan to do with me now? I've got to think fast. I need a new plan, and I need it now. The Grand Duke, Dorian, is not going to let me go down without a fight, and his men are already closing in. I can see the determination in their eyes, their training kicking in. My hands are already sweating. I'm the bait, and I know it. I need someone to believe in me, someone to trust. But who?
Stats maxed. New skill unlocked.
I've got to show Dorian that I'm not just any ordinary mercenary.
Stop.
But I push forward, my resolve strengthened by the Grand Duke's words. I've got to end this, even if it means my own downfall. Before anyone else can breathe, I move forward, the blade slipping past the Grand Duke's guard.
You had your chance.
Brian's hands won't stop moving, checking his surroundings for any escape route. The mercenaries closing in on him are too strong, and his own injuries are mounting. He can feel his life slipping away. He needs to think fast, but panic is setting in. It's a desperate bid to survive, but his body is screaming to give up. His eyes scan the area, searching for any glimmer of hope.
He's staring at someone, his eyes wide with shock and anger. His face is red, and his fists are clenched. His eyes are fixed on the Grand Duke, pleading for mercy. He's desperate, and his body is crying out in pain, but his mind is still racing with strategies. He takes a deep breath and tries to come up with a new plan. His hands are shaking, and his voice is barely above a whisper.
Stop. That was unjust.
His eyes flicker towards the speaker, his expression a mix of shock and anger. He's processing the sudden interruption, and his body language is tense.
Young Master is in a world of pain, and his tiny hands won't stop moving, checking and rechecking the body beside him. The servant is beside himself, pleading with him to snap out of it. He wants to escape this nightmare, but something's holding him back. His convulsing body is a clear sign that he's not in control. The servant's desperate voice is trying to reach him, but he's too lost in his own private hell. The servant is begging him to come back, to snap out of this trance-like state. Young Master's small body is shuddering, his tiny hands grasping at the air like a fish out of water.
Snap out of it.
The servant's eyes are brimming with tears. He's on the verge of breaking down. Wait, what just happened? The system crashed, and we're about to lose our connection to the young master. Join the Hari squad with a sub before the system crashes, and let's get to the bottom of this mystery. Hans is about to lose his job. He's asking questions that he can't believe are necessary, but he wants answers desperately. He's afraid of the consequences, and rightly so. because these are the kinds of questions that can get you killed. His hands are shaking as he speaks. He checks the exit twice. His voice cracks. Hey Hans, I have a question for you. Master is trying to remember the family name, Valdek, but he's not even sure if he's correct. He's desperate for answers and relief is his only hope. He looks around, unsure of who to trust, his eyes scanning the room for any sign of familiarity. His hands are shaking, and his breath comes in short bursts. He's terrified of what might happen next. P60 says it's either Valdek or something else entirely. This is his only chance to save himself.
Stop. The tension in the air was thick enough to cut with a knife. The tension in the air was thick enough to cut with a knife. Let's break down the story in real time.
Master's life is at risk, and the family's future hangs in the balance. He glances around, searching for answers. His eyes land on a servant who looks familiar, a mercenary who's been to all sorts of places. He's here now, and Master's about to learn the real meaning of being a member of the Grand Duke's family.
And how?
Master wants to know what's going on after his seclusion. He hasn't met anyone besides the servant in days. The servant seems out of place, not someone you'd normally see in the Grand Duke's estate. The servant's words cut through the silence like a knife. What kind of nonsense is this? Master's face twists in confusion. He can't understand why the servant is making such a fuss. He didn't think his isolation was that bad. The servant's eyes seem to bore into his soul, as if he's searching for something hidden deep within. Master's body language betrays him. His arms cross, and his shoulders tense up.
Stop. You're wrong.
The sound of the Grand Duke's voice echoes through the halls. Master's instincts tell him to hide, but his body refuses to move. He remains frozen, his eyes fixed on the servant. Young Master is back, and the head butler, Edwin, is over the moon with relief. He's been waiting a whole year to see Master's face, and it seems the report stating Master was unharmed was true. His face lights up with a warm smile as he looks at Master. Edwin says, "Seeing your face after a whole year, this head butler is incredibly happy."
He must be here to make sure things are back to normal.
Master's goal is to catch up with Edwin, but his instincts tell him to be cautious, and his eyes narrow slightly as he takes in the scene.
A mysterious figure's involvement in the main character's wish leaves his future and the Grand Duke's fate hanging precariously in the balance.
The Grand Duke's third son, Lucian Waldeck, is feeling lost and alone. His mother's memory is fading, and he's struggling to cope with being an outcast in his own family. He tries to escape his emotions with sleeping pills, but it's not working. Lucian is now trying to get more attention from the Grand Duke, but he's not sure how to approach him. However, his year-long seclusion has changed him, and he's now more determined than ever to prove himself. His actions are more calculated, but the risk of failure is high. What will happen next? Will Lucian succeed in his quest for recognition, or will he become a mere pawn in his father's game of power? The tension is palpable, and the consequences of his actions will determine the fate of the entire family. Lucian is trying to gather his strength and momentum, but the Grand Duke's indifference is stinging.
First, for smearing the Waldeck name with my foolishness. The advisor's voice rings out, a cold declaration that sends a shiver down the third son's spine. The weight of his words is crushing, a reminder of the unbreakable laws that govern the lives of the Grand Duke's children.
Isn't that the proper duty, father and son bound by the laws of heaven? The third son's eyes widen in shock, and his breath catches in his throat. He's never heard his father spoken to in such a way before, and the realization hits him like a ton of bricks. He's on the wrong side of the family's power structure.
The third son is taking a huge risk. He's decided to learn the sword properly, despite his broken body. He's trying to downplay the difficulty, but the advisor's voice is still echoing in his mind. He's not convinced that he can do it, but he's determined to try. The advisor's words are still fresh in his mind, and he's trying to find a way to prove him wrong.
I'll know by watching. Let's dive into the next 4 beats of Reincarnated as the Grand Duke's third son.
The butler is still trying to process the Grand Duke's demands. He's confused about what that refers to.